everyone, and welcome to the opening and introduction of Kick Ass Quilts College, a place where everybody can learn how to become a sustainable quilter. Today I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the background of Kick Ass Quilts. But first let me pour you a beverage. I've different ones here, so everybody can choose whichever one they like. Because just as in drinks, where everybody has their own preferences, in quilts we also have a lot of different styles and methods of quilting, and everybody can choose their own way. And I'm going to teach you how in Quilt College. But I've also poured 4 beverages because I wanted to show off these coasters I've made. Because the coasters are the first project you're going to learn how to make. Because even though it's a small quilt, you could even call it a mini quilt, it teaches you all the basics you need to know how to quilt. So first you can learn how to do it with a mini quilt, and then you can go crazy with a big quilt, which I will also teach you how to do because I love that part. Also, because we all start with the same project, like the coaster, we will all be connected as quilters with the same project, but with our own different unique style. And connection is one of the key pillars of Kick Ass Quilts. In the rest of this video I will tell you about the other key pillars of sustainability, mindfulness and joy. Follow me. Allow me to talk about sustainability with the help of the first quilt I've ever finished. This is what I called my ultimate scrap quilt. It's made of at least 100 different fabrics I've gathered from people who didn't want it anymore. For this quilt I used the most stretchiest, fluffiest and shiniest fabric I could find. So basically I used quilting fabrics that are difficult to work with. Because I heard that the best thing to work with is 100% cotton. And I couldn't afford to buy a lot of cotton. So I wanted to find out for myself if that is true. Or if it's also possible to work with basically any kind of fabric you can find. And it turns out, it's not true you have to use cotton. Because I made a beautiful quilt. And also, this way of quilting is very sustainable, because instead of buying new fabrics, you're basically using fabrics nobody can use for anything else anymore. Quilting is very handy in that way, because for a good quilt you only need very small pieces of fabric. So even a handkerchief with a hole in it, you can use for a quilt. So, and also the nice thing about using old clothes is that it puts little memories into your quilt. For example, my mother recognizes a lot of the fabrics in this quilt because it reminds her of the curtains and the dresses she made for me and my siblings. And that brings me to the next part of the key pillars of Kick Ass Quilts. Mindfulness, and how a quilt is extra special because of the materials and intention you use. Follow me! So, what have mindfulness and quilting to do with each other? Well, first, quilting can be the perfect mindfulness exercise. Because you're working with your hands, so it's a very tactile movement. You have the feel of fabric in your hands, which usually calms me down a lot. And the sewing is a repetitive movement, which can be used as meditation. And before you say, I don't like hand sewing, I actually also think that the sewing machine noise can be sort of calming, because it acts as a kind of white noise machine. So quilting can be perfect to calm down after a busy day. But it's not only like the action of quilting that's mindful. Quilts also are a mindful object in itself. Because instead of like it being the object that you can easily throw away or that's like meaningless, like fast fashion and consumerism, a quilt is usually made with intentions and special fabrics. Especially if you use those kind of fabrics. So when you quilt, you're actually not creating just a blanket, but you're creating a heirloom or an object you can use for years to come, and it will still feel okay to you because it's special in how you made. And one way you can do that is by using fabrics that are meaningful to you. Like what I did with my Kenyan quilt. When I went to Kenya, I wanted to have like a reminder of my time there that fitted me, and as a quilter I decided to make a quilt. All of the fabrics in this quilt are either gotten in Kenya or were old clothes I wore there but didn't survive the route. For example, this skirt, it was a wonderful skirt, but I jumped out of a car and then it got ripped so badly that it was impossible to fix. And now it's part of my quilt. And you can also do that with other objects, like old child clothes, or like the clothes of a loved one who passed away. And in that way you create a memory quilt. And instead of having to dispose of those objects, it becomes a quilt or a bag or a pillow, anything quilted that you can use in your everyday life as a reminder of those moments or those people. And also that can bring extra joy to your day, because you use objects that are meaningful and suitable for you. And I will talk about that now. All three key aspects of Kick Ass Quilts come together in the joy of quilting. Because a quilt is not only nice and relaxing to make, a quilt is also a joy to have in your house. Because it's a unique object which will last you for a long time. It's also unique and it's exactly fitted to your own style. So you don't have to worry whether you will find like a blanket you will like. You will just make the blanket you like. And it's not only that, a quilt moves into the nexus of art and normal life objects. So it's actually quite a unique object. It brings beauty and joy to the everyday, because it's a beautiful object, and it shows that long time ago in history people already cared about having beautiful objects that lasted them for a long time. Also, imagine doing your shopping with a bag you have made with your own hands. Or imagine sending your kids to school in a bag you made for them. It would make them feel extra special. My teacher was always jealous of my quilted bags because my mother made them so beautifully. Or imagine sleeping under a blanket made by somebody who cares for you. It would make you feel extra special. Whether you spend your nights alone, it doesn't matter. The dreams will come, I will promise you. So basically, the joy of quilting is, especially in its bold fabrics, but that's my personal preference, you can choose whatever fabrics you want and create something that's uniquely for you, and it will fit with you for the rest of your life. Quilting, to me, makes every day a little bit more beautiful and a little bit more worth living, especially when it's made with sustainability. So now I have told you about the key aspects of Kick Ass Quilts. Let me show you a little bit of the college, so you know where you will be studying. Hello everybody, welcome to the introduction part of Quilt College, where I will show you normally the buildings, but since this is an online Quilt College, I will show you where the teaching is happening online. It's in Kick Ass Quilts online. It's a platform where you have a community where you can meet with each other. You have boards where you can ask questions or you can introduce yourself, and there's some fun information with webinars or other expositions where you can go to. So just a lot of information you can use to become even more in depth into the quilting world. And there are groups where you can talk about specific projects. For example, the first quilt we're making or the holiday I'm planning is very soon. You also have a Facebook, it's a bit like Facebook, but better. And here you have the upcoming events. You can see that there will be a monthly chat where I will also help you with all the questions you have on quilting. Any kind of quilting projects is welcome, where we just meet each other and chat, and I will make sure that there's something interesting in every month. You find the lessons here on the top. You see that it's a nice overview. You can click on the lessons you have here, and you also can see the progress you're making on this. If it's green, you've done. And the lessons are a combination of videos and text, so everybody can learn in the way that suits them best. And the best thing, there's also an app. So you can also learn on the go. If you feel bored in the train, just take the app and learn how to quilt. Oh hey, you're back from the introduction. I hope you liked it. I was just enjoying one of my 4 beverages, because I actually like all 4 of them. Also, the same as with quilting, I like all different kind of styles, and one of the most interesting things is to see what other people will come up with. I'm very much looking forward to it. If you have any questions about Kick Ass Quilts or Quilt College, do not hesitate to email me or send me a message. Also, keep an eye on the introductory phase page on my website or your email boxes to get more information about sustainable quilting, mindfulness, how to bring joy into your quilting, and how to use your old scraps. I would love to see you all later in the introductory phase, and for now, let me release you. Bye bye.